My prediction really hinged on one, JJ having a plan, also, kind of Luca's health, maybe needing a miracle. According to Shams, this was around the kind of time that, we were looking that he would, kind of come back. Obviously, post game, Luca obviously refuted that, but, my prediction was, kind of based off of Shams' kind of timeline and, JJ kind of having a plan for the series. Um, you know, and I thought JJ had a great plan. Maybe just I wouldn't say poor execution, just kind of lapses in execution at times. The first two games kind of went as I predicted. I figured we would probably lose the first two games, but I like the game plan. That's the kind of game plan that you want to have. Game plan was to send the hard double towards SGA, get the ball out of his hands, keep the ball out of his hands. Game one, he had seven turnovers, um, only 18 points. Game two, he only had 22 points. Um, you know, Game two, he was also, in foul trouble for most of the game as well. It's just, the others beat us in game one and two. So, kind of reflecting after game one and two, I'm like, okay, now that we've seen that, okay, the others can beat us, uh, you know, you feel like we gotta, you know, it's time to kind of switch the strategy. Maybe let SJ go off a little bit more. That way, he's not getting his teammates involved because it just seems like, when we were getting the ball out of his hands, they were able to get it to their shooters, and it just really felt like their shooters weren't missing. Um, Game three, JJ adjusted. It was more, SGA, doing his thing, a little bit less doubles. Um, but that doggone AJ Mitchell, all series, I mean, he really did his thing. Um, Jared McCain, I think at one point he was shooting like 82% from three, which I mean, ridiculous. Um, I thought Chet played very well for them as well. Um, I thought our squad played well for, especially in game one and two. They played well for, like pretty much three and a half quarters. You know what I mean? It was like, I feel like even though it was a sweep, it was closer than the series end, and the final scores would lead you to believe, right? Um, so it's just that's what I'm saying. Like, right? We played well for 2.5 quarters for most of these games. Uh, Obviously the last game being the closest. Which, funny enough, SJ had a negative plus minus in the last game, and he had 30. That's the game he went off. He had 35, but it was a -7, which in the for plus minus, which is, I don't know. I don't know. Is that do we take plus minus into consideration on that one? Because it was the closest game, turns out. But anyway, um, yeah, we just had minor lapses, right? Just minor lapses where we just didn't do the basic things. We didn't stop the ball in transition a couple times. We didn't close out on shooters a couple times. So that led to layups, led to three pointers, um, live ball turnovers, leading to points off of turnovers. We didn't box out, which led to them getting offensive rebounds. They had a lot of second chance points. And more importantly, they had timely second chance points, which when you're playing a team as good and as deep and as locked in as the Thunder are in this moment, you can't have those kinds of lapses. And obviously, it came back to bite the Lakers. Um, but all in all, I thought overall the team as a whole played hard and they played good. Like I said, just kind of lapses in the game plan